mid-May, but we'll talk about that in like an hour from now. Okay, so GBP NZD, we'll start out with that one. Great British Pound NZD, GBP NZD. And the biggest thing when we look at markets, okay, the biggest thing is to make sure that you have a strong trade plan, okay? I know, Gene says Mastermind hit a lot of our targets. I know, basically, when massive movements like this happen, we press the reset button, and it's okay to kind of just take a moment and just breathe. We had a pretty massive move over the weekend, but don't let that in my opinion, you're not going to want to let that pressure you into placing trades. When markets move fast, that's usually when emotions heighten, and especially when you hear a bunch of traders saying, hey, I'm making thousands and thousands and thousands of pips, it kind of feels like, hey, the pressure's on for you to perform. That's not the time for you to have the pressure on, okay? The reason why these investors made all those pips is because they were in the right positions before the move. Now, here's after the move, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that you're in the right position to catch the next big move, okay? Is that fair enough? So if you're kind of feeling like, hey, markets are moving, I got to get in, that's usually when a lot of investors lose a lot of money. So just clear your mind, relax, calm down, okay, and let's press the reset button, and let's just look at these markets and create great solid trade plan, establish fantastic habits that breed success, okay? So let's do that. Now, when we look at the Great British Pound NZD, one of the things which we've noticed is that this market's at a low price and is moving towards north. What we really like about the Pound NZD is how readable it is. The market's currently making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and this market's moving from a low to a high price. But we also know that, you know, percentage speaking, based upon the most recent market movement as well as the big picture market movement, it is considered that the move that we're in right now is a short-term move. Even though this bullish movement's lasting for months and months and months, it is still considered a short-term move. So your job as well as my job, what we're trying to do is we're trying to determine and say, hey, where will this future high price be? Because that high price will either A, tell us to close out with profits, or B, tell us to enter in selling to make profits, okay? Just like how the market pulled back here and just like how the market pulled back over here, we need to find these high prices, okay? So the reason why we believe this market is in a short-term retracement above and beyond the current evidence of the pullback is even the price action swing, and I kind of know that this is not a proper low to left to the right, but it's really the only thing that we have to work with. But from the price action swing, which just basically means that this is the high price, this is the low price, that's the retracement, there's the extension. We just hit a 1.618, okay? Then what ended up happening is the market formed what's called a piercing line, which is almost an engulfing bullish candlestick, but just barely misses it. So more of a full body bullish candlestick next to a full body bearish candlestick. So that takes up about 70% of the previous bearish candlestick. Then you have the market holding around 1.7 thousand. Here's the test of the bear move. Test holds, and there's the push. So this market is retracing not only from the price action swing, but also because of the D extension. Okay. So the question is, if this market's going to fall, where is it going to fall to? Well, usually the market falls towards like downtrend lines, but look what happened. Type in yes, yes, if you can confirm that we have broken the downtrend line. We're pretty much right on it, right? We're on it, and we're in the process of breaking it. And usually what ends up happening is when the market breaks the inner trend line, the market moves towards the outer trend line. Now, granted, we have to wait till the end of the month, so basically next week we'll get the ultimate confirmation that if we close above the downtrend line, it is a true break. Otherwise, we could form a long wick towards the north, and the market could fall right back down. So just keep in mind of that. But if the market does follow the rules of inner trend line breaks, market moves towards the outer trend line, we could be entering into a scenario where the market could produce thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pips bullish. Now that's a nice thought, but we have to make sure before we set out with a long-term buying plan to make it up towards, 2.2 thousand area, by 5,000 pips towards north, we have to make sure that that is accurate, number one, and we also have to make sure that there's supporting evidence along the way. Now, two really great things that I really like about the Forex market is, number one, if the market's going to go up, it's going to move in waves. Number two, the market's going to go down, it's going to move in waves. Let me kind of prove that point. All I want you to say is yes or no, and this is all going to make sense. If the market's going to maintain the bearish push, type in yes if you agree that more likely the market's going to continue and wave bearish. Okay. If the market's going to reverse bullish, type in yes if you would agree that the market would reverse bullish in waves. And type in yes if it makes sense, regardless if the market is to reverse bullish or if the market is to reverse bearish, that on the monthly time frame, it's most important for us to find the most recent high price. And then we can discover whether or not the market's going to reverse bullish long-term or reverse bearish long-term, right? Because as of right now, we're trying to ask the question, is it going to fall 5,000 pips? Is it going to rally 5,000 pips? That's a great question, but we don't really need to answer that right now. The only thing we need to answer is, where is this high price? How do we find that high price knowing we just broke this downtrend line? How do we find that future high price? Because even if the market's going to rally bullish 5,000 pips, it's not going to do it in a straight line. What I want you to do is I want you to look left. And I want you to see where the market's forming previous lows and highs, okay? And when we do this, one of the things which we discover is this price point here, which is 8541. 1.8541 is monthly future resistance. Now watch when I bring a line on, okay? 1.8541, I bring in the blue line, and it begins to mark an area of U-turn. Now, it's not necessarily, and really listen to me, it's not necessarily the exact price point that pushes or U-turns this market. It's more of the bottom, because if you really look at this market has a almost like a yellow box range, to where the market forms lows at the bottom of the box, in the middle of the box, and the top of the box. Type in yes if you'd agree that this yellow box represents the U-turn range, right? It's a U-turn range. There's a low, there's a low, there's a low, there's a low, then there's a low in the middle of the box, low at the bottom of the box, okay? And so what that basically means is this: when or if this market is to rally and touch 8541, I want you to think, okay, this bullish movement has the opportunity to end. And what I want you to do is, if you're buying this market, which you should be, I want you to say to yourself, okay, maybe I should change from position trading or swing trading to more of a day trading so I can react appropriately if this market shows a larger bear move. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is this: let's just look to buy the market towards 8541. Once we touch 8541, we'll open the door to bear control. But until that happens, more than likely the market's not going to, it's going to be very, very difficult for the market to have any sort of long-term bear control without touching 8541. Does that make sense? Okay, now how is the audio? Is the audio good? Is the audio cutting in and out? Just kind of give me an idea. Is the audio good? Is it cutting in and out? Okay, so 99% of everyone is saying audio is great. It's fantastic. It's fine. For those of you that are having an audio issue, it may be on your side, so you may want to log out, log back in. But 99% of the room is saying it's great. Okay, so 8541 minus 81.99, which is 342 pips. We have 342 pips of buying opportunity available. Okay, so away. What I want to do is I want to go to my daily time frame, and off my daily time frame, I want to focus on low prices. If I can get a low price, then I want to buy the market. Now, When we turn to the daily time frame, you're going to be tempted to want to sell. And some of you do a really great job at selling the market. And some of you have a perfect training and excellent training, and you've been mentored to know exactly what to do and how to do that. But some of you have zero training in regards to trading short-term moves. And some of you are very brand new, some of you are very novice. If you consider yourself novice, new, or an inconsistent, non-profitable investor, you are better served by just focusing in on buying. Because if you just buy this market, the market's going to drift bullish anyways. Okay, type in yes if that makes sense. If you just buy this market, it's going to eventually drift bullish 300 pips anyways, according to the percentages. So if you try to sell this, that's really where, if you're a new trader, you get into trouble. Okay, but it's learning that skill, how to separate that aspect. But if you're an advanced investor and you know how to take advantage of the advanced moves, then you know what to do. But I'm not going to be teaching that, okay? Now, let's go ahead and let's bring up the daily time frame and focus in on low prices. Now, and the biggest reason for those of you kind of wondering, hey, you know, Josh, why would you sell this? It's just if you do sell the market, you have to face what's called cutting the bleeding, which basically means if the market does go against you, you just have to focus in on where you want to lose the least amount of money. But if you buy the market, it's more of just waiting it out, and I'll explain to you what that means. Okay. Now, 1.8541, 1.8541 is going to be the daily, the monthly future resistance. This is going to be the limit, and that's 342 pips away. Okay. Now, all I care about is focusing in on buying this market. Now, here's something that I really, really, really like, something which I need you to be aware of. Okay. 1.7800. You want to mark that. You want to mark that down on your side too. Okay. But 1.7800 is an area of U-turn. Since July 2016, there's a low price, a low price, a low price, a high price, a high price, a high price. This is where the market U-turns. So 1.7800 is a daily support level. This is where the market likes to go up. Okay. So what does that mean for you? Don't be surprised if this market decides to do this. The reason why I'm saying don't be surprised if the market does that is because, you know, the market does the same things over and over and over again. The market doesn't like doing new stuff. It doesn't like doing new things. If you're not properly trained to find these areas of U-turns, it may look new to you, but it's not new to the market. 7,800 is an area of U-turn that's been serving this market since July 2016. If all you focused in on was buying the market when the market touched support or sold the market when touched resistance, type in yes, why yes, if you would agree that for the most part you would have generated a profit if all you had to do was trade this U-turn. Yeah, no doubt about it, because that's what's breeding the most amount of profit movement. Okay. Now, you and myself, what we do is we look at this and we say to ourselves, okay, do we buy now or do we wait? Did we miss the move? Is the market getting ready to extend bullish, or do we wait for the retracement? See, that's the true decision. Now, if you're saying to yourself, well, Josh, if you think the market's going to pull back, why don't I sell? That's a losing mindset. That's a short-term move. Traditionally, that's where most new investors lose, because the reality of this is I could buy the market right now. I really want you to understand this. I can buy the market right now, But as long as I have my stop below 7,800, let's just say I had my stop at like 7,500. The market will go against me, then it'll go for me. Does everybody understand that? I could buy it right now. The market will go against me, and then it'll go for me. That's the reality of this. The reason why you'd want to wait, if that's your decision, is to avoid drawdown. Okay? But if I were to buy this market right now and just say, hey, I'm committed to the buying move, percentage speaking is I'm going to make 340 something pips. How much drawdown do you want is the question in regards to why you'd wait. Versus FOMO, or fear of missing out of the bullish move. So I used to be, as a trader, a very nervous trader, and I used to be very scared of the market, and it used to drive me crazy as an investor. I would miss great trading opportunities just simply because I had fearful of losing the trade. And I wasn't necessarily fearful of losing the trade. It was fearful of losing the money I was risking. And so one of the things which I decided to do is I decided to eliminate that fear, and I decided to say to myself, I will trade with proper equity management and give myself the ability to focus in on just being a trader. Type in me, M-E, if sometimes you find yourself being very fearful of losing the money, and that's what bothers you, kind of like, I really can't afford to lose this trade. If you're walking around and you're trading like that, I can't afford to lose this trade. This trade's going to make or break me. I really hope your longevity or your lifespan within the Forex market does not look good. You need to trade with proper equity management to give yourself the ability to be able to function as an investor and make an appropriate decisions. Because the reality of it is this, everybody. Here's the truth of trading. You should have the ability with proper equity management to buy the market right now, place your stop at 7,500, and then just say, hey, if the market goes my way now, I make 300 pips. If it falls against me 300 pips, I'll buy it again at 7,800. That's really what you should be saying to yourself and really what you should be doing. Type in yes if that makes sense. But some of you emotionally can't handle the drawdown, so we don't do that. And so instead what we say is we say, okay, don't buy the market now. It doesn't make sense to buy the market high. Wait for the market to form a low price and then buy it at the low price. And that's what we're going to type out here. Okay. But I'm telling you this, if you can just trade proper equity management and focus in on just being a trader and doing your job as a trader, you're going to make a lot of profit. Okay. And the compounding is where you're going to make the money. Now, let's focus in on this. The Great British Pound, NZD is too high to buy. I need the market to pull back bearish and form a low price at, on, or around the uptrend line near 1.7800. Then I will turn to the 1 hour time frame and start buying the market towards the monthly future resistance of 1.8541, about 342 pips away. Okay, so there is a camera button on the upper right hand side. There's a camera button on the upper right hand side. If you don't see it, press escape because your window might be too big, but there's a camera button on the upper left hand side. What I want you to do is click on that camera button and take a picture of this. Type in done, D-O-N-E, when you've taken a picture of this. You should be getting this buy trade around Wednesday. It's about 2 more days of waiting. We need about 3 days of bearish movement before we can start buying this market, okay? So type in done, D-O-N-E, when you've written this down. We're going to move on towards next currency pair, which would be the Euro Australian dollar. Now, If you are currently buying the pound NZD, what should this tell you? Well, it should tell you that, percentage speaking, the market's going to go against you before it goes for you. Now, remember, as a trader, your job is to generate consistent, reliable income. And how you generate the consistent, reliable income is making sure that you are applying the steps which allow you to generate consistent, reliable income. Which really means is you're trying to trade in the direction of the higher winning percent move every single time you place a trade. So don't get caught up trying to chase the losing percent. Just ask yourself, hey, if I were to see this example 100 times, what would the market do most? And then just do that. And for the most part, you should be in great position, okay? Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next currency pair. Jeffrey says, hey, why do you think it's going to go down? Just because the market moves in waves. You know, we can bring in some Fibonacci's as well. And not that Fibonacci. I think the market just fulfilled this D extension over here. So we did just fulfill, or you have your D extension at the 1.618, which is fantastic and lines with our future resistance. But I don't buy the market at high prices. The market is at a 1.27. The market moves in waves, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We're too high to buy. Natural wave movement says it's going to come down before it goes up. Okay. Yeah, and Richard, it may go down to 1.7800 because that's the area where the market has U-turned since July 2016. That 7800 here, you see there's a U-turn, 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 U-turn. So everything's in line. And the question that you have to ask yourself is, and here's the thing, you need to say, hey, if you think the market's going to go up now, buy it. But in regards to placing your stops, you need to have your stop below 7,800 because that's where the market U-turns. Okay. The uptrend line is going to push the market up, Dale, and 7,800 is going to help push the market up. Next currency pair will be the euro against the Australian dollar. EUR-AUD. EUR-AUD. Now, I really, 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 really hope you have been buying the Euro Australian dollar. Type in ME if you've been buying the Euro Australian dollar. I've been trying to help investors make the decisions. So that's Jed and Rian and Olga and Larry and Jerry and Mark. Perfect. Beautiful. Every single presentation that I come on, I try my very best to share or show the Euro Australian dollar because it's my favorite currency pair. It is my opinion to where if you're going to trade only one currency pair and one currency pair only, you should be trading the Euro Australian dollar. Percentage speaking, this is the highest winning percent trading opportunity that's available, okay? But the longer you wait, the more you miss out on. And we just had a very large move. And so for those of you who are kind of like, well, I'm not sure, I'm not really bought in yet, hopefully with this latest bullish movement has been enough evidence for you to kind of have a shift in your mind by saying, okay, I've seen enough, I'm on board. Usually that's kind of what it takes. You know, sometimes when we look at trading opportunities, it takes, every trader has a different level of belief or trust based upon their experience. And it's okay if you're kind of like, hey, Josh, I'm just not there yet in my trust and the analysis yet. That's okay. But I need to tell you that the longer you wait to build that trust with this currency pair, the more you're going to miss out on. And sometimes you're just going to have to take that leap of faith and just take the action to really build the trust. Because once you take the action and you start seeing a positive return off the action, your trust growth will expedite, and it really will allow you to function as an investor. Now, I'm not saying over leverage. I'm just saying even if you were to place a demo account, prove to yourself that when you enter into the market that you can generate an income. It's very, very important that you do that, okay? Now, 1.5600, write it down, please. 1.5600 is ultimately going to be the end goal of mine. And 1.5600 is the monthly U-turn level. This is where the market forms highs and lows. So I am going to use it as a limit. Now, when you look at the Euro Australian dollar, excuse me, you can see low price, 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 breaks bearish, high price, high price, high price, high price, high price. So the reason why this is my favorite currency pair is because it has a 100% hit rate at 1.5600. Excuse me, which I really, really love. And the reason it doesn't matter how far the market goes up or how far the market goes down, since 1993, the market gravitates towards 1.5600. So it really means a lot. Now, how far away is that? Because, you know, it's only like 100 pips away. It's exciting, but not that exciting. But 5,600 minus 43.45, it's 1,255 pips away. 1,255 pips away. Now think about this. If we look to make 1,255 pips a bullish or buying opportunity, 1,255 pips from where we are now towards 5,600, and all we have to do is focus in on buying low over the next few months, it can really make our life super simple. You and I have to find the reasons to justify why buying right now, okay? Now, just think about this for a moment. Why buy the market right now? Oh, you're fine, Ellen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Well, when we look at the euro against the Australian dollar, and we bring on this little blue line, one of the things which we discover here is that we are also hitting an area of U-turn. One of the things in which I need you to understand as a trader is that the market does not like forming highs and lows on random areas. The only time in which the market will form highs and lows inside of random areas is realistically when there's an all-time high or an all-time low, and then you're just kind of like, okay, what do I do? Well, then you kind of use Fibonacci. But type in yes, why yes, if you don't understand that the market doesn't form random highs and lows. If you think the market's forming a high or low, just look left, which means go in the past of the history, okay, look at past candlesticks. If the market has formed a high or low in that same area, you probably are right. If you think, hey, the market's forming a high or low now, and you look left and there's no evidence, well, you probably are wrong. And that's just the way this works, okay? Now, the market's hitting or has reacted at 1.3854, which has been an area of U-turn since 2009, which really supports the buying opportunity from where we are now. Now, additionally, or additional evidence, if we can bring in additional U-turns, such as this little blue line, you have a U-turn, a U-turn, a U-turn, a U-turn, a U-turn, a U-turn. That helps out quite a bit. And then you also have, you know, the world famous Fibonacci's, but this is going to be a subswing, sub A, sub B, sub C, which is 786, sub D extension is the 1.27. So the reason why this is my favorite currency pair is because we have a sub D extension being fulfilled. We're at the backside of the old downtrend line, and we're hitting a future U-turn level of support. And then we have our limit, which is 5,600, has supported itself since 1993. So the reality of this is, if you were just to buy this, okay, 1.5600, you were just to enter in the market buying and walk away, in like 4 months you'd make 1,200 pips. I would like to make more than 1,200 pips. Type in me, M-E, if you would like to make more than 1,200 pips. Yes, Marcelo, yes, you're absolutely correct. Excuse me. Okay, now, to be able to make more than 1,200 pips, there are a couple things which we can do. Number one, we're going to go to the daily time frame, and we're going to focus in on structurally buying low. And just the fact that if we just buy low and profit high and take advantage of the wave movements, what that will do for us is that can allow us to potentially double, if not triple, the opportunity. just by strategically buying low, profiting high, buying low, profiting high, buying low, profiting high. That can really help out. Okay, so that's what I want to do. So we're going to go to the daily time frame, and when we look at the daily time frame, EUR AUD, EUR AUD, daily time frame. And all I want to do is strategically, I want to mark 1.5600, 5. I want to go 1.5600 is the monthly resistance level, the limit, okay, long-term limit, 1,255 pips away. Okay. Now, all I want to do is focus in on my buys. Okay, all I want to do is focus in on buying this market. So I'm just going to draw my smart trend line. And by the way, CAR goes, what if you just use grids? Yes. If you are a grid trader, this would be a perfect scenario for you just to grid trade on the way up. Does everybody understand that? If you're a grid trader, when you receive this, these are kind of the areas where I'm going to be helping you find. You're just going to turn your grids on and just grid trade on the way up. It's going to make your life super simple. If you're not a grid trader yet, that's okay. I'm going to share with you what to look for, okay? Now, smart Fibonacci's. I'm pushing for that mark. I'm pushing for it, but as of right now, it's in the works, but I am aggressively pushing for it. Okay, so what has happened here? Well, we have an up AB boundary. This is like a third Fibonacci, by the way. C retracement is a 786. D extension is the 1.27. So if you're buying the euro against the Australian dollar, which I think is a very, very smart idea, if you haven't taken profits, you may want to think about taking profits now. Here's the reason why. We just hit your D extension, okay, of your Fibonacci, pretty much to the pip, and now the market is starting the new wave of AB boundary, okay, sorry, of AB boundary, and the retracement's coming, okay? So why don't you tell me what happens after a 1.618, sorry, what happens after a daily D extension is fulfilled? What happens? Hey Trish, good morning, how are you? The market pulls back, and here's my bigger question. Do you believe, based upon your experience and your training, that when a daily D extension is hit, do you believe that if you were to see that 100 times, that for the most part, the market actually retraces? Do you believe that? Yes or no? Do you believe it in your core? And if someone were to convince you that's not truth, would you say, I disagree with you because I've seen it happen so many times. It's ingrained into my trading DNA. If that's the case, then you are just like me, and we look at this and say to ourselves, we should not buy right now. The market's going to retrace and a low price is going to show up, and then we should buy. But here's the truth of the matter, okay? Why do we not buy now? Well, the fact of the matter is, if you buy the market right now, you can still make money. You can absolutely still make a profit. It's just the market's going to go against you first, and then it's going to go for you. And so the reason or the why behind not buying right now and taking profits is according to the percentages of that the market just hit a D extension off the daily time frame. The market is expected to pull back to form a low price, where we can buy the market at a much lower price, avoiding drawdown and increasing our profits. Type in yes, why yes, if you understand the purpose of not buying now. This is the art and the skill of utilizing your tools, but understanding the purpose behind it. Okay? And this does not mean it is a guarantee that the market will fall. It just means that if we were to see this example 100 times, according to the percentages, the market would go down first before it goes up. And what we're making a strategic decision to minimize risk and drawdown to wait for the pullback. That takes belief and trust that your analysis and your tools are correct. I've been doing this now 8 years. I place thousands and thousands of trades. I'm 15 months of consecutive gains. I'm up over 42,000 pips. I'm winning over 76% of my trades. I haven't had a losing net day since February 13th. I believe. So therefore, for me, it's a really simple decision to say, okay, too high to buy, wait for the low price, then start the buying process once again. So let me type this out for you, okay? And say the Euro Australian dollar daily time frame is in an uptrend. The market has hit an up D extension. The market is too high to buy. I am expecting the market to pull back and form a low price at, on, or around the uptrend line. I will then turn to the 1 hour time frame and start buying. Counter trend line breaks bullish towards the next D extension from the daily. Type in done, D-O-N-E, if you have this copied down. Click on that little camera button. About 3 days of bearish movement, okay? So Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be buying this. Now, if you're saying to yourself, hey Josh, I think this market's going to keep going up, so I'm just going to buy now. Okay, let's address that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying be prepared for drawdown. So when you look at this, just think for a moment. As you're copying this information down, just think. Let's just say we bought the market. Heck, let's just say we did it. Where does your stop need to be to have a safe stop? Where does your stop go? And don't just quote rules, understand the wave movement and justify the answer. If you're just going to buy the market now, where does the stop go? If you're going to buy the market now, where does the stop go? Because if you buy the market now and you just understand it's going to go against you a few hundred pips before it goes for you. So you need to make sure your stop is out of the way of the wave. Where does that go? Michael, you nailed it. Mr. M, you nailed it. If you're going to buy the market now, you're better served to place your stop below the uptrend line. The uptrend line is pushing the market up. Can you place your stop below the A? Yes, absolutely. But the reality of this is as long as you place it below the uptrend line, you're going to be just fine, okay? Because this uptrend line is what pushes the market up. So even if you're saying to yourself, I'm just going to position trade this, I don't have like, who would do this? If you're really busy, if you're kind of like, Josh, I'm about to go on vacation, I'm about to go travel for work, I'm about to be in a plane, I don't have time to wait around for this, I work 12, 15 hours a day, I use these presentations to find trading opportunities so I don't have to monitor the markets. Got it, no problem. Place your stop below the uptrend line. As you're away from your computer, the market's going to go against you. You're not going to care because you're not going to see it, and then the market will go for you. Have your limit at the long-term position trade. Type in yes, why yes, if that logically makes sense. But you know, if you're saying to yourself, hey Josh, I work a whole lot, but I have 5-10 minutes just to look at my computer before I go to bed, or 5-10 minutes to look at my computer when I wake up, that's plenty of time to find that low price. And you want to do what I'm showing you, to wait for that low price, okay? It's all about time management and what you can and can't do. Okay, that's Euro Aussie. Let's look at the Euro US, okay? And then we'll incorporate grids and show you how grid trading as an investor is going to assist you in your ROI, return on your investment. Okay, EUR USD, EUR USD, monthly time frame. EUR USD monthly time frame. Now, so when I first started trading, I was trained on the Euro and the Great British Pounds, basically the G7. Or actually, really, it was Euro US, Pound US, USD Swiss franc, because Euro and USD Swiss franc go against each other, and the JPY. And so the Euro and we go back since the beginning of time, when I was just a little baby trader. One of the things which I've seen with my involvement in the Euro US dollar is that a lot has happened fundamentally across the world. Wars have broken out, economies have crashed, countries have invaded one another, tsunamis have hit. This has happened, that has happened, but the euro has stayed very structured. And the euro, big picture, has stayed within this channel. And there has to be a time in your trading career into where you just say, yes, I agree with this. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of talk with the euros right now, especially with French, elections, especially with Brexit, especially with potential wars happening again. So there's a lot of talk. Well, that's nothing new, okay? And it's not like we haven't seen that in the last 10 years. This range has been around for about 10 years anyways, okay? And so for me, I'm very big on technical trading. I'm a technical trader through and through, okay? And so as long as the market stays within this range, I'm focused on trading the range. And even when you focus in on the here and now, when you zoom in, you just kind of say, hey, I don't want to recognize that big channel just as of yet. We're still within a 1 year, about a 12-month plus sideways movement of left to right. So where the market touches support, which by the way is right around 1.0500, which is monthly support, and resistance is clean the resistance up a little bit. Resistance is 1.1500 monthly resistance. So we're inside of this 1,000 pip range. And the big question that you have to really ask yourself, which really helps me out a whole lot, is this. If you bought the market the last 2 times it touched 1.0500 and you limited out at 1.1500, would you have made a profit? Yes or no? I'm just asking you, if you would have bought it here and that's your limit, would you have made money? If you would have bought it there and that was your limit, would you have made money? Okay. What's the difference between now versus over here? What's the difference? What's the difference? Because I get that a lot. I get, hey, Josh, that's hindsight. That's 20. Anyone can have 20/20 vision in hindsight. Well, I agree with you. But how are you going to use that hindsight of recognizing patterns to help you take advantage of the current pattern, which is basically the same exact thing that you saw in hindsight? Are you just going to let this pass you by and then like next year you go, oh, that's hindsight once again? Or are you going to make the decision and say, no, I'm going to be educated. I'm going to trade in the direction of the percentages. I'm going to make an intentional decision, I'm not going to be one of those investors who just makes up a bunch of excuses as to why I can't recognize patterns and how easy it is for other people to recognize patterns. No, you're going to say, no, I'm going to take advantage of this. And this is a pattern, and if I were to trade this 100 times, and I were to invest into the Forex market 100 times at this same exact scenario, I would make more money than I would lose. And then take on the responsibility with proper equity management and start generating the proper habits. The only thing which you're truly going to struggle with is trust. The only thing which you're going to truly struggle with is lack of experience of trusting that, hey, this is actually going to work out. That's what you're going to struggle with. But the more you do it and the more positive returns you see, the more trust in your ability that you will obtain. And that's the fastest way to get over it. Now, this is a 1,000 pip move, okay? And a 1,000 pip move realistically is not going to happen in a straight line. And so, oh yeah, Hemant says, hey Josh, is the grid system good to run now? I'm going to be giving it, I'm going to train you in mid-May. So basically we got like a couple weeks left, a few weeks left, and then you're going to get it. But this is going to be a perfect currency pair to run it on. This is a beautiful currency pair. And we can talk about that after this. Just want to make sure that you technically have this set up. Now, market is expected to move in waves, and one of the things in which the market does is it forms highs and lows inside the same areas over and over and over again. And the profit that we've been chasing, I just say chasing, the profit that we've been going after is 1.0911. So 1.0911 is the monthly future resistance. I've been using it as a limit, and we hit that. Matter of fact, we went to 1.0932. Okay, so our limit was fulfilled in the Euro US. And so now the question is, what do I do? Do I sell it back down? I don't think you should sell it back down. You need to do one of two things, okay? And let's spread this across. Now, I want you to think for a moment because it's going to really help you take advantage of this move. What happens at 1.0900? What happens at that price point? Just type into the question section box, what do you see? What happens at 1.0900 area? Since 2015, what happens? Jeff says highs and lows. Yip says U-turns. Jim says pullbacks. Gordon says U-turns, right. Gerard says pullbacks. Now, U-turn, 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 U-turn. If, listen to what I'm saying, if by next week we close above 0.900 area, if we close above it, if the monthly candlestick closes above it, it opens the door to the remaining 1.1500. If it doesn't, then we're going to expect the retracement. Why? Because it takes the market. Here's the history. Really watch this. This is a very, very important lesson, okay? When you run into these U-turn levels, the close of the candlestick drives the push. Notice how this market closed above the green line, and then the market rallies to the blue, okay? Closed above the green line, and then that's what caused the push. Closed below caused the push. And watch. Look, you see how we did not close above the green line? See how we formed a long whip towards the north? That happens. So be careful. This is where these false U-turns take place. We close above, then there's the push. Okay, now watch. See how it causes the U-turns, closes below, there's the bear push. Now, here we are. If, I'm going to say this again, if the market closes above 1.0900 off of the monthly time frame, expect the market to rally towards 1.1500. If we're unable to close above it, expect a bear move. Type in yes, why yes, if you understand that. If you see a bear move, that means it's a short-term move. Now, right now, I'm not touching this because our limit has been fulfilled. We've already profited out. I will show you the daily time frame. I'll show you what to look for, what I think is more than likely going to happen. But at the end of the day, you know, you strategically have your U-turn level, your line in the sand, your buy-sell spot. Euro US dollar daily time frame. And we're going to mark $1.0911, 5. So 1.0911 is going to be the monthly resistance. And then we need to find 1.1500. This is going to be the limit. 1.1500 monthly resistance limit. How far away is that? 1500 minus 862, that's 638 pips. 638 pips away. Okay. All right. Here's your uptrend line, smart trend lines. Here are, I'm going to give you two spots of where we need to buy the market with two separate limits. Extend. All I need you to say is yes or no. Yes or no. Does the market go up at the uptrend line? Okay. So let me ask this question. If the market were to fall bearish and touch the uptrend line, would you be willing to buy it towards 1.0900? Yes. So let's do that. So that's option number one, or trade number one. We need a retracement to the uptrend line. So the market is hitting a future resistance level. If the market forms a low price at the uptrend line, I will then look to buy the market off the 1 hour time frame with counter trend line breaks bullish towards 1.0911. About how many pips away would that be? 280 pips. About 280 pips away. Now, some of you, I like the way you think, because the way you think is very similar to the way that I think. And when I first started investing, I would say, hey, you know, the market's going to fall. Why don't we sell the market now? Well, the problem with selling the market now is the market has every opportunity to break bullish as well. The market has every opportunity to break bullish. I don't know if it's going to break bullish right now or if it's going to fall bearish. Does everybody understand that? There's justifications for both. We can argue both. We can say the markets are going to go up right now because of the French elections, or we can say, no, the pattern says the market's going to fall bearish because that's the technical pattern. We need to wait for the retracement. You know, whenever you can argue both sides, you don't trade. What you do is you wait for the side that generates the most amount of profits. In this scenario, it's going to be either at the uptrend line or at resistance becoming support, and then you buy that for your 600 plus pips. So your second opportunity is if the market breaks above 1.0911 and closes, expect the market to test and form a low price. If the market forms a low price at on or around 1.0911, I will then turn to the 1 hour time frame and look to buy counter trend line breaks bullish and the buy zone towards 1.1500 monthly future resistance about 600 pips away from entry. Okay, type in done, D-O-N-E, type in done, D-O-N-E, when you have this copy down. There's a camera button in the upper right hand side that you can just take a little snapshot of, okay? We had massive movements this last week, lots of profits taken, lots of limits hit. Basically, the reset button has taken place across the board. We now need to have what's called, we now need to wait for the market to reload and give us the next setup. Most of our waiting will last between 2 and 3 days across the board. But I wanted to make sure that you have very, very strong trading options and very, very strong trading opinions, okay? Now, type in yes, Y-E-S, if you know what grid trading is. Type in no, N-O, if you do not know what grid trading is, because we're going to talk about it. Just want to see the overall makeup of the room of the experience. Okay. So hopefully by now you kind of seen a little bit of a demonstration of what it is, but I'm going to show it to you. But let me focus in on the end goal of mine, on whether or not it's worth you watching. Okay. If you are an experienced trader, listen to me. If you are an experienced trader and you actively invest into the market and you're able to obtain returns, grid trading should help you double your production. Type in yes, why yes, if you understand that. So if you're saying, hey Josh, I got my favorite strategy, I got something that works for me, I use X, Y, and Z to enter into the market and I make it happen. Well, if you use grid trading, you would be able to double your production. That's the reality of this. Okay. Now, second thing, if you're kind of like, hey Josh, I'm struggling, I'm new, I don't really know how this Forex market works too much, but I believe in the opportunity. Because I'm still learning, I'm not consistent with my returns. What could grid trading do for me? It can help you win upwards of 90% of the time. It could take your strategy, any strategy of your choice, and turn it into up to a 90% winning ratio. Type in yes, why yes, you understand that. I proved this multiple times. We actually had our anniversary events, and what I did is I asked for the worst currency pair out there. I asked to give me what they think would put me into a losing position. We still came out on top. So what I would like to do is ask the investors who would be interested in seeing something that could optimize and expedite and amplify their returns to get them producing upwards of 90+% winning ratios, to type in me, M-E, if you want me to demonstrate this to you. Something in which, in my opinion, is going to alter and positively affect any trader who utilizes this for the better. We can do this on any currency pair of your choice. I'm going to teach you the formula of finding grids. So why don't you type into the question section box a currency pair that you like to actively trade, and I'll share with you how it works. Okay. Daniel says Euro Australian dollar. I love it. Sandra says Euro Australian dollar. I love it. I think that's my favorite currency pair, so we'll start out with that one. I'll show you 2 ways of investing into the Forex market. This is called grid trading. And let's go ahead and bring this up. G-R-I-D let me first, Euro AUD, let me first explain to you the concept of how this works. Now, what the heck is grid trading? Well, grid trading is taking advantage of the market hanging around the same price points over and over and over again. And to prove this and to demonstrate this in front of you, I just need a little bit of interaction from you on your side. Would you agree that this market has been bouncing back and forth within this yellow box? Yes or no? Now, I want to teach you the guts of the theory behind this, okay? Okay. Now, what if you brought in a green line, and what if you said, okay, by default, whenever the market touches the bottom green line, I'm just going to buy the market. Do you think you could have made profit when it went up? Yes or no? Okay. What if you said, okay, well, I'm going to then strategically create another distance, and I'm going to buy the market again at this green line. Do you think you could have made even more profit if you would have strategically entered in at this green level? What if you would have separated this entire range into a grid and said, hey, I'm just going to buy from one green level to another green level, and I'm going to strategically utilize this wave movement as the market goes up. And even when the market goes down, I'm going to use this grid or these levels to strategically enter in on the way down as well. Now, if you do some research on grid trading, what you end up discovering is it's considered to be a no-lose strategy. I don't want to set that expectation, and so therefore what I'm going to do is say it is a upwards of 90+% winning ratio, okay? Now, grid trading is a lot of work. Type in yes if you look at this and you say, hey Josh, that just looks like a lot of work. It looks like I have to monitor my markets, I have to monitor my currency pairs. If I were to trade this off 3 or 4 currency pairs like this, it just seems like a full-time position. You're right. Matter of fact, it takes like 3 people to properly manage grid trading the right way, full-time, until now. What we've been able to do at Market Traders Institute, and this is what I've been campaigning within MTI to get our developers and get the authorization from the executive to allow us to do this, I've been able to automate the grid for you. But you have to use a very specific formula, okay? Type in ME, if you want me to teach you this formula to find your grid, and if you want me to share with you how to deploy the grid automatically. It's really is allowing the average trader, because usually what ends up happening is like bank traders or fund managers, if they wanted to do this, they would have an entire team managing this. Now with the advancements of technology, you don't need to have that entire team. You can just use the advancements of technology to really assist you. Now, if you are a target trader, a leveling trader, or a mastermind investor, this is going to be a must-have tool for you, okay? And you're really going to love this. You're going to love this a lot, okay? Now, here's what we're going to do, and here's what I want to do. I want you to write these rules down, okay? Rule number 1, this is to find your grid. Excuse me. Rule number 1, have 500 bars in memory. Rule number 2, find and mark the highest and lowest point on screen. Number 3, times that number by 3. Number 4, divide that number by 2. And then number 5, divide that number by the number of levels in your grid. I'm going to use 10. Number 6, now, you now have, so we have 500 bars of memory, find and mark the highest point, times it by 3, divided by 2, divided by 10. You now have the grid levels. Let's do this together, please. All I want you to say is yes or no. Do I have 500 bars of memory, yes or no? Yes. Is this the lowest point, and is this the highest point of my grid? Yes or no? Oops. Is this the lowest point and the highest point? Okay. That distance is 500 pips. So I'm going to take 500 pips, times that by 3, and that is 1,500. Now I'm going to take 1,500, and I'm going to divide that by 2, which is 750. Then I'm going to take 750, and I'm going to divide that number by the number of levels in my grid. Now, if you're going to default 10, which I'm going to teach you several scenarios, you can shorten up this math quite a bit. But to make it simple, I'm going to have my levels of my grid to be 10, which basically means this is going to be 75 pips. Now, I really, really want you to watch this. When you receive the grid, you're going to get access to what's called the matrix tool. What you will do is you will right-click over your screen. As of right now, I'm the only one that has access to this. Right-click over your screen, and you see down here it says matrix. I'm going to left-click over matrix, and then this is going to allow me to automate my grid. Now, for the number of levels, this will give me the ability to decide how many levels I want in my grid. Now, this is why I said, for those of you who are leveling traders or mastermind traders or target traders, you're going to love this because it gives you the functionality to automate your entries, which is amazing. Okay. Now, I'm going to be teaching you when it's appropriate to use less levels and when it's appropriate to use more levels. Right now, it's appropriate to use 10 levels. I can decide the number of lots per trade, the distance between leveling, which is, or distance between my levels, my grid, which is 75. And I can decide to say, okay, I only want my grid to be above the market or below the market or on both sides. When you're grid trading, it's on both sides, okay? Now, I can decide if I want to enter in buying or enter in selling and have my grid to be buys or my grid to be sells. And I have this extremely unique button. It's called Close All Orders on Net Pips. If I type in 100, this means, really listen to this. This means whenever I'm positive 100 pips, whether it takes 1 trade or 5 trades, it will automatically close out of all my positions and remove my grid. If I type in 300, whenever I'm net profitable 300 pips, doesn't matter if it's 1 trade or 5 trades, I will automatically close out of all of my trades for me. Type in yes, why yes, that makes sense. Your grid can be deployed through your favorite indicators like stochastic RSI U-turns. You can do alerts, so like if it breaks a counter trend line break, it can automatically release it. Price points, so if it hits a certain price point, you can automatically launch your grid. So you don't even have to be around your computer when you launch. Now watch what happens. I'm going to be using 75. I'm going to be teaching you 2 strategies right now. Strategy number 1 is my I don't know nothing about the Forex market, but I want to win upwards of 90% of my trades. I'm going to teach you that strategy now. And then I'm going to teach you an advanced strategy, okay? So watch what happens. Watch your screen. Your grid's going to be applied for you automatically in 3, 2, 1. Type in yes if you can see the grid is now active and that all my orders are in, and now this is on autopilot. I can walk away. All these orders are now inside of my broker. My charts, whenever I am net positive 75 pips, I will automatically close my trades, and I'm going to teach you a very fantastic strategy right now. Okay, now, here's what I want to do, especially because it's already 9:20. For argument's sake, we're going to do a handful of these trades. Your job as an investor is to enter into the market, and your job as an investor is to generate a profit. And so some of you have a desire to generate an income to accomplish your end goal in mind, which is results. And some of you want to do it right now. And some of you want to do it without having to go through a tremendous amount of education. That's where technology comes in. So the first strategy I'm going to demonstrate to you is I don't know anything about the Forex market, but I want to win 90% of my trades. Okay? For argument's sake, let's just say for whatever reason you decided to buy the market and you released your grid. So your grid is now doing its job. You're going to limit out at net 75 pips. So which means if the market makes it to the next level, you're going to close out with 75 pips of profit. Type in yes, why yes, if this makes sense. So if the market rallies up to this level, you will make 75 pips. Now, if the market falls down one level, it will enter you in, and if it rallies back up, it will close you out with 75 pips. I will show you some examples. But it's going to automatically close you out with 75 pips. Here we go. Okay? You enter into the market. Market does its thing. Goes against you first. Hits your 75 pips. You just made net 75 pips. The reason why is the market made it to the next level. So you're done. Your trade's over with. You just made 75 pips. But because you don't know anything about the Forex market, but you still want to win 90% of your trades, you're going to release and reapply the grid. And you're going to let it do its job. Now, you can do this on any currency pair in any time frame. The larger the time frame, the larger your grids. But you can do this on any currency pair in any time frame. Did the market hit its next grid level, yes or no? Okay, so you just closed out automatically with 75 pips because you bought in and then just hit 75 pips. Okay, yes, Mohammed, I'm going to teach you day trading strategies as well. But because you don't know anything about the Forex market, but you still want to win 90% of your trades, you're going to release the grid again. You're going to reapply it. So let's see what happens. Okay, market begins to move, does its thing, back and forth, and let's see what ends up happening. Never hits the level. Let's see. Okay, so now the market falls down and hits the grid level on the bottom. So you buy, so it automatically buys you in. If the market is to rally back up, we would close out with 75 pips. Let's see what happens. Market falls again. So now we're in 3 positions. Now if the market rallies up one level, we are break even. So this now becomes our break even, this blue line. Let's see what happens. Okay, what just happened here was the following. First trade, second trade, third trade, break even, we're up 75 pips net. Why? Well, your first trade, you lose 25 pips. Your second trade, you make 50 pips. And your third trade, you make 125 pips. Type in yes if it logically makes sense that the grid allowed you to net profit 75 pips, so therefore this trade is over with. Okay. But because you don't know anything about the Forex market, what you're going to do, but because you still want to win 90% of the time, you're going to relaunch the grid and you're going to enter in the market buying because you said, hey, Josh said if I do this, I can win 90%, up to 90% of my trades. There's the next level. That's the limit. And that's the truth. Okay, so that trade's over. But because you don't know anything about the Forex market, but you still want to win 90% of your trades, you're going to reapply the grid. And let's see what happens. There's another one. There's another limit. So that's another 75 pips. But because you don't know anything about the Forex market and you still want to win upwards of 90% of the time, you reapply the grid. So let's see what takes place. Market begins to move. There's the entry. That's your second entry. If it rallies up to this level, you're at break even. And this one you gapped. So actually you made much more than 75 pips because of the gap. But what the heck? I'll just say you only made 75 pips because we're going to say we're going to, instead of the best scenario, we're going to give you realistic expectations. You relaunch the grid, you end up buying into the Forex market, and see, let's see what happens even after the gap. Market is right around break even. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades. All 6 trades have won. Type in me, M-E, if you'd be happy winning 6 out of your last 6 trades net. Type in me, M-E, if you'd be happy having the grid automatically manage your positions so that you could generate the income even if you're away from your computer. Give me another currency pair. I want to prove that this will work on any currency pair in any time frame. Give me another currency pair and give me another time frame. Give me a currency pair, give me a time frame. Give me a currency pair and a time frame. Give me a currency pair and a time frame. Give me a hard one. Give me something in which you're like, Josh, nobody can make any money off this. Give me a hard one. Ooh, WOJ says Euro Yen 5-minute time frame. Ooh. It's almost like the Wild West. 5-minute time frame, Euro Yen. So this is for those of you who are going to be scalping the market. Ooh. Let's see. What are the rules? Remember the rules? Number 1, have 500 bars of memory. Number 2, find and mark the highest and lowest point. Number 3, times that number by 3. Number 4, divide that number by 2. Number 5, divide that number by the number of levels in your grid. I have 10 levels. You're going to have up to 10 levels, okay? That is your grid level, okay? All right. Is this the lowest point in the screen? Is this the highest point in the screen? Yes. I have 500 bars of memory. This is going to be 387 pips. So 387 pips times that by 3 is what? 387 times that by 3 is 1161. 1161 pips. So now take 1161, divide that by 2, and what is that? Divide that by 2, 580. 580 pips. Now take 580 and divide that by your number of levels in your grid. I'm using 10, so that's going to be 58 pips. Okay. Right click. This is what happens. right-click, matrix, number of levels. If you are a target trader, a mastermind trader, or a leveling trader, you're going to love this. This is a must-have tool for you because you can automate what you're doing now, okay? I can do the number of lot sizes, the distance between the levels, which is going to be 58, above the market, below the market, or both sides. I'm grid trading, so both sides. I'm buying. I'm going to close all my trades at net of 58 pips. And I can have stops and limits. So I'm going to show you in just a second for the advanced way of trading. But I'm going to select OK. Ready? Watch this in 3, 2, 1. Type in yes. If you can see within a fraction of a second, my grid is now on my screen. Okay? Fraction of a second. Saving a tremendous amount of time, a tremendous amount of accuracy, okay? Because I don't have to worry about typing in the wrong number or missing the opportunity or a fat finger mistake, okay, or picking the wrong lot size, okay? Now, let's go back and let me show you and share with you off of a currency pair in which you believe is one of the hardest currency pairs to generate an income off of, right? That was the test. Give me a currency pair that you think is impossible to make an income off of and the time frame. So we chose a 5-minute time frame euro-yen. Argument's sake, you applied the grid at this area for whatever reason, and you let the grid do its job. Now, we're using I don't know anything about the Forex market, but I want to win up to 90% of my trades. So which means we're looking to close out at net positive 58 pips. I'm going to be teaching you that, and I have a simple formula to teach you how to do that. And so let's see what happens. Market begins to move. This is more of a day trading style. The market presses bullish. This would have gapped in your favor. Granted, you would have taken your trade and you would have made 300 plus pips, okay? But we're going to say you only made net 58 pips because I want to give you some very realistic expectations. I don't want to have a gap. You would have cleaned house on this, yes, but I don't want to have the wrong expectations, okay? So that trade's over with. But because you don't know anything about the Forex market and you want to win up to 90% of the time, what do? You buy the market. So you enter in long. And what ends up happening? Well, the market rallies up, comes just shy of 58 pips, comes down, triggers your next trade because you're leveling in or you are grid trading, so you effectively entered into the market. And all the market has to do is get back up to this level, and we're up our 58 pips. Okay, so there it is. So that's your exit. You just had a net 58 pips. Copy, paste. So even in the last 24 hours, trading off the most difficult currency pair in time frame as an investor, you would have made 58 pips. But because you don't know anything about the Forex market, you have reapplied your grid. You got triggered back in, down low. And what happens? Here you are. You make another 58 pips. Copy, paste. But because you don't know anything about the Forex market, what do? You enter back in on the grid because you're going to use grid trading when upwards of 90% of the time. And let's see what happens. This is where you currently are. So even in the last, since Friday till today, what would you be up? You would have won all your trades, and 58 times that by 3, you'd be up 174 pips. Let me ask this question. How many of you here would be happy since Friday, not including the monstrous gap, which would have really slingshot us, but since Friday, be up almost 200 pips? So all you have to do is just launch this, let this do its job. You won 100% of your trades, and you're up almost 200 pips off one currency pair. Bigger question is this. Type in ME, M-E, if you can see how extremely profitable this is and how this can really generate income for you. Even on the toughest currency pair and the wildest time frames, this still produces income. Okay. Now I want to share with you how you can use this to advance your income if you are an expert at trading. If you are a target trader, mastermind trader, or leveling trader, this is a must-have tool for you. But if you have a strategy that only works in specific market conditions, use grid trading and it will optimize it. It will amplify the returns, okay? Now, I'm going to share with you and tell you, because the Euro JPY, remember the Euro JPY is producing opportunities, and let's go ahead and bring that up. Workspaces, what the heck, we can pull up the pound NZD, GBP NZD. So we'll just pull up the Euro Yen. EUR JPY, EUR JPY, daily time frame. Oh, we already have our grid trading on this one. That's already taken care of. Okay. So we talked about today we already got grid trading in Euro Aussies. That's perfect. Great British Pound NZD. Okay. So remember the Great British Pound NZD? And we said, hey, look, this thing's going to rally up 342 pips. But, you know, the market could fall down bearish first, then go its way. Type in yes, why yes, remember that. Okay. This is a perfect scenario for grid trading. So just think about this for a moment. Let's just say you have grid trading and you come onto a presentation like this and you hear from me and I say to you, hey, the Great British Pound NZD, GBP NZD, is getting ready to rally towards this target. It's 342 pips away, but it may go down before it goes up. That's a simple grid trading scenario. So all you're going to do is you're going to mark 85.41, and you're going to remind yourself off. I like a 1 hour time frame, but you can do this off any currency pair in any time frame. 1.8541 monthly future resistance. This is the limit, 342 pips, especially if you're very, very busy. This is what I would want you to do. I want you to come on here and apply the formula. You'd find and mark the highest point and find the mark the lowest point, okay? You'd measure the distance, 687 pips. So you're going to go 687, times that by 3, divide that by 2, divide that by 10, 103 pips is your grid. You're going to right-click, matrix, okay, 10 levels, distance between 103. You're going to be trading both sides. You're not going to use close all net orders. You're going to give it a predefined limit, okay? And that limit is going to be price point 1.8541. Select OK, 3, 2, 1, watch the launch. Go ahead and type in yes. If you can see, my grid is now applied, and my grid automatically shuts off my hard limit at 85.41. LAI, I teach 3 strategies inside the program. So I'm going to teach you a day trading, a swing trading, and position trading. I can get into the details in a few moments. But let me just kind of share with you what this truly means. Okay, so let's just say, for example, for whatever reason, the market is to rally bullish. What can this truly do for an investor if they had this? Let's just say the market were to rally right now. What kind of income would you make? Well, you would make 342 pips off your first trade. But because you're grid trading, you're going to automatically enter in at 82.94. So you get 82.94 minus your target 85.41. You'd make 247 pips off your second trade, 247. Then your third trade, you'd enter in at 83.97 minus 85.41. You'd make 144 pips off your third trade. And then your fourth trade, because you're effectively grid trading, at 85.00, you enter in, and then you at 85.41, you make 41 pips. So what does this look like? Okay, it looks like this. If you're grid trading, you buy, you buy, you buy, you buy, plus you got the protection on the way down. So this is what your returns would be. First trade is 342 pips. Second trade is 247 pips. Third trade is 144 pips. Fourth trade is 41 pips. And your net return is what? A lot. 342 plus 247 plus 144 plus 41, 774 pips. 774 pips. So if you are an advanced trader, what does this do for you? You use grid trading on your favorite strategy, your favorite entry strategy. You automatically inherit the amplified results of winning upwards of 90% of the time, and whatever you're trying to make, double it, and that would be the average return. Effectively taking this 342 pip trading opportunity and turning it into over 774 pips. So how can you use grid trading to amplify your returns? If you know nothing about the Forex market, I have a default strategy for you that you can use to win upwards of 90% of the time. If you are an advanced trader, I can give you the 90% winning ratio up to and doubling your returns. Type in ME into the question section box. If you're kind of like, Josh, give me the details of this program. I want this and I want to use this and I want to amplify my return. So type in ME into the question section box if you want me to give you the details of this program. I will be educating you in mid-May, so it's going to be just a few more weeks away. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what's called grid trading. This is what's called grid trading, okay? And this is my baby. This is my program. This is what I created, and this is something in which I've been campaigning within Market Traders Institute to get the funds to invest into the technology to make this happen. So I'm going to be your tour guide, and I'm going to be the one helping you implement this, okay? So this is a grid trading live class. What you're going to receive is 3 strategies: a scalping, a swing, and a position wave trading. You're going to learn how to amplify your results and your returns with optimizing your favorite entry strategy of your choice. I'm going to help you win up to 90+% of your trades, okay? So this is what you get for grid trading. You get a live 4-hour class, on-demand recordings, access to the matrix tool, 3 strategies, checklists, manuals, workspaces, ongoing access to the class. This is universal trading with grid trading. You're going to trade directly from your charts. You're going to learn how to manually place your grid. You're going to have alerts. Place your trades. You can use signals, such as example indicators. If you love stochastic RSIs, when it U-turns, it can trigger it. If you like counter trend line breaks, you can use that and it will trigger it. You don't have to be in front of your computer to launch your grid, okay? So it's around-the-clock smart technology. Now you're going to get 1 month access. This is what's called a live trading follow-up. This is in addition to your class. You're going to receive a 4-hour trading session with me once a month. It's called a fill in the gap sessions, okay? What does that really mean? It means this: I'm going to educate you. I'm going to teach you, I'm going to train you, and I'm going to give you the technology and say, okay, now go do this. Within 30 days, you and I are going to meet with one another for 4 hours, and I'm going to say, okay, what are your struggles? What's missing? What's not clicking? What are your questions? And I'm going to answer your questions and provide solutions for your problems. I call this fill in the gap. If there's a gap in your education, a gap in your knowledge, that's where I come in and fill it in. Type in ME, M-E, if you like the idea of having a fill in the gap session with me within 30 days after you are educated and receive this. I think that's very, very important with implementation. Is something which I really wanted to do and which I am going to be doing for you. So here's my expectation of the program. It's going to optimize any strategy, amplify your results. It is a must-have for the following traders. If you are a mastermind student, a leveling student, or a target trading student, you're going to want this. This is going to be a must-have tool and a go-to tool to help you amplify your returns and really make the execution that much easier for you, okay? And if you're a trader that want to win upwards of 90% of the time, and investors who want to take control of the wave movements, this is something in which you're going to thoroughly enjoy. Okay, so grid trading course, manuals, checklists, class recordings, live trading follow-ups, unlimited class free attendance. has a total value of $3,495 US. Now, you hear me say this a lot, and there's a tremendous amount of truth behind it. Everything in which you do in your day-to-day, you judge your performance based upon the investment, return on the investment. Now, whether you invest your time, your energy, your resources, your money, your mentorship, you say, hey, this was a good investment based upon what you get in return. So what I want you to do is put your investment caps on, and I want you to honestly answer these questions. If all this program truly did for you, if all it did was allow you to win upwards of 90+% of your trades, would it be worth the investment? Yes or no? If all this program did for you was allow you to generate and make an extra $7,000 to $8,000 a month and make it consistent to where you have the confidence to go out and buy that new vehicle, to go move in that new facility or buy that new home, or to pay off your debt, would that be worth the investment? Stop and really think about it. And if all this program did for you was just allow you to earn enough money to structure your retirement in the next 12 months and to give you the ability to travel around the world and just spend more time with your family, would that be worth the investment? Yes or yes? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to incentivize you to take action. We're going to incentivize you to get in early. Now, our early bird pricing is over with. And so we're in our next tier of savings, which means this is the best time to get involved with grid trading. Furthermore, with the movement within the Forex market, which is doubling and tripling the average daily trading range, is really doubling and tripling the daily opportunity to make an income. What we're going to be seeing is that investors who have grid trading are going to be doubling and tripling their daily income. So what we want to do is incentivize you to take action. And how we're going to do that is make this extremely affordable. What we're doing is we're going to give you a savings to where, for those of you who take action and enroll into the program, we're going to give you a $1,250 US savings to where you can enroll for $22.45. At this point in time, what I want to do is empower you to type your telephone number into the question section box, and what we can do is put on what's called a soft hold. We will reserve one of these seats for you, and then we will contact you after this presentation is over. We'll answer any and all of your questions, put you in a position of empowerment, and then you can make the final decision, say, yes, I want to do this, or no, I do not. But what I need to do right now is I need you to make what's called a micro commitment and type that telephone number into the question section box so we can do a soft hold. What I would like to do is go ahead and recognize the following investors who just typed their telephone numbers in. I want to let you know that we will be reserving a spot for you. And first things first, I want to say thank you so much for your trust and the opportunity. I'm very, very excited for the ability to serve you with this. Now, I want to say thank you to Patrick and James and Karen and Kurt and Jerry. We have your telephone number. Richard, MUN, Florian, Sam, Jan, Torad, and Ray have your telephone number. We have one of our education specialists reserve a spot for you. David, I got your telephone number. Nathaniel, Bob, Johan, got your telephone number. Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve you and work with you. Tabitha, Thomas, Marcel, Edson, Jorge, GED, got your telephone number. Thank you so much. We'll have one of our education specialists reserve a spot for you. Karina, Richard, now listen to me very carefully. It would not be a presentation with me if I did not give you thousands and thousands of dollars worth of extra material for free. So I have what's called fast action bonuses, which are bonuses which incentivize you to take action today. But I'm also here to tell you that I have been provided executive orders from the executives to state that I can only give out these bonuses to the next 100 traders, and the bonuses are being taken away. It's something that's been a tremendous amount of fun. It's been something that I've been very, very grateful for to be able to give to you, the student body. But the executives have stepped in and said, listen, this is extremely high demand. Tremendous amount of investors are going to be utilizing this, It's worth much more based upon how much we had to spend as a company to build this technology. We're the only place in the entire world that has the grid trading technology and automated it for your ease of use. And so therefore, these bonuses I'm about to introduce you to are for the next 100 traders. Now, that means if 100 traders sign up today or over the next 2 days, once they sign up, the bonuses go away. If you're ready to make the decision to enroll into the program today, type in bonus, BONUS, into the question section box, and this is what you're going to be receiving, okay? Bonus number 1, instead of receiving 1 month of fill-in-the-gap trading sessions, I'm going to give you access to 3 total months of fill-in-the-gap sessions, which are 4 hours long each, which means I'm going to educate you next month. And then for 3 months total, you and I are going to work with each other once a month for 4 hours, where I'm going to be filling in the gap for you. I'm going to be educating you, putting you in a position of empowerment, and you're going to say, I'm going to come to you and say, what is your problem? Why are you not successful with this? What are your struggles? Okay, you are successful. What's going to make you even more successful? What do you need from me? Tell me your problems. I've probably heard your problems. I know the solution, and I'm going to fill in the gap and give that to you. By typing in bonus, BONUS, into the questions section box, you'll be entitled for 3 months. Now, here is my mega fast action bonus, which in my opinion is going to save you over the years to come, okay? And that is what's called 100% ownership into the Matrix tool. Now, because the investment of Market Traders Institute wants to make the Matrix tool, which is a part of the grid trading course, okay, a month-to-month subscription, okay, to be able to automatically apply your levels in your grid. They want to charge a maintenance fee on that. I want to give you that for free, but I'm also not the one who made the 7-figure investment into this program. So we have 100 of these bonuses left, and after 100 traders sign up, we can no longer offer this. So by typing in bonus, BONUS, into the question section box, this will entitle you to having lifetime ownership of your grid, of your Matrix tool, okay? So as long as you have the charts, you will always have the Matrix tool, only for the next 100 traders and the 100 traders only. At this point in time, if you have not typed in bonus, BONUS, I want to encourage you. I want to empower you to do it right now. I want to go ahead now. In my opinion, this is going to give you an ongoing savings of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a yearly basis. I don't know what the maintenance fee is going to be, but let's just assume it's going to be $200 a month. If it's $200 a month, this is going to save you $2,400 a year. Even if it's $100 a month, this is going to save you $1,200 a year, which basically means within 2 years, the fact that you got in now basically pays for the course itself, not even including the ROI, return on your investment, that you're going to receive from the trading by itself. So this is really the best time, the perfect time to get involved. So what I want to do is recognize the following traders just typed in bonus. I want to say thank you to James and Cecil and Becky and Joanne. Have your for bonus. We're going to reserve this ownership for you, okay? Kurt and Jerry, James C, Lib L. Let's see what you wrote. Not a problem. We have one of our education specialists answer any and all of your questions. Martin and FJ and Franklin, have your for bonus. Gordon and Donald, have your for bonus. Not a problem, Gordon. I see what you wrote. Thank you so much for the trust and the ability. We'll reach out to you and we'll see what we can do to assist you, my friend. Now look, Tim, I have you for bonus. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And this is what I want to do. I want to go over this one more time. I want to make sure that everyone thoroughly understands exactly what they're getting, okay? So let's break this down for you once again. You're getting what's called the grid trading course. You're getting manuals, checklists, class recordings, live trading follow-ups, unlimited class recordings. Bonus number 1 is live trading follow-ups with me, okay, for 3 months. Those are fill-in-the-gap sessions. And only for the next 100 traders, you're going to receive your lifetime ownership. We got to take that away. MTI wants to be able to make this a month-to-month subscription. So the next 100 traders enrolled to the program, what they're getting is the lifetime ownership, which means they're going to avoid that month-to-month subscription, which is a tremendous amount of savings. This is a total value of $5,000 $485 US. That's your package price, basically $5,500 US. Because you're getting involved inside of the program before the actual class starts, we're going to give you a savings of $3,240 US, so your enrollment's just $2,245. Here's my expectations for this program. It's going to optimize any strategy, amplify your results. It's a must-have for the following traders: mastermind students, leveling students, and target students, okay? If you have that, I would strongly encourage you to even ask questions, because it's going to make your life super simple. If you're an investor that knows absolutely nothing about the Forex market, but you want to win upwards of 90% of the time, I have a perfect strategy for you. I've already demonstrated it to you on some of the toughest currency pairs, and we still pulled a profit from it, which basically means this is something which you can do even if you get the direction wrong, even if you do this, even if you just have no idea what you're doing. This is designed perfectly for you. If you are an active investor and you know exactly what you're doing, double your returns. That's the expectation which I want for you, okay? So this is what you receive: a live class. You receive position, swing, and scalp strategies, so 3 separate strategies. What you get is 4-hour class, on-demand recordings, matrix tools, 3 strategies, checklists, manuals, workspaces, ongoing access. You can trade directly from your charts. You can launch grid trading, either manually placing your trade, alert trading, signal trading, or price entry trading. That is around-the-clock smart technology. We're giving you a fantastic savings up front, and we're giving you some mega fast action bonuses for getting started right now with the in my opinion, the most ongoing value bonus is going to be the lifetime ownership to your matrix tool. After the next 100 traders sign up to this program, we can no longer offer lifetime access to your matrix tool. And what that means is this: as long as you have charts, you will always have access to this. But after the next 100 traders sign up, you're going to be, if you're like the 101st trader, or you don't sign up with the next 100 traders, you're going to be charged a monthly maintenance fee for ongoing access to that matrix tool. Hey everyone, so if you want to avoid that, type in bonus, BONUS, into the question section box now. Hey everyone, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate the trust and the ability to work with you. Stay by your phones. We're going to contact you now. If you're excited enough, give us a call, 407-585-2409. I was very excited and very happy to work with you. We had a great anniversary event last week. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Stay by your phones. We're going to contact you in a few moments. And on that note, every day, helping traders find a way. Oh, by the way, and if you're ready to sign up now, we do have the ability for you to enroll into the program by signing up online. So I'm going to give you this link in the question section box, okay? So here's this link in the question section box. Send questions to everyone. And by clicking on this link, it's going to give you the ability to skip the line and sign up online. So we like to do this for those of you who are really busy and are kind of like, hey, I don't have time to talk to somebody, but I want to be within the first 100 traders. Go ahead and click on that link. It's 100% secure. All you have to do is fill out your first name, last name, address, city, state, zip code, country, phone number, email address. You can get started right now with American Express, Discover, MasterCard, Visa. Type your credit card number in, and you are done. Everyone have a great day. And on that note, every day, helping traders find a way. It's Joshua Martinez.